Ladies and gentlemen, folks, welcome back to Conversations. We are your hosts, Ryan.
And I'm Ben.
And today is a very special day because we have a dear, dear friend of ours.
Yes, we do.
Our leader, one of our co-founding leaders of Kinjaz. He's an entrepreneur. He's a world-renowned dancer and choreographer. Does a lot of choreography for K-pop stars. So many to list, I can't even think of them right now. He's a new husband, our great friend, Anthony Lee.
Why are you laughing? How'd you feel about that intro?
How do you feel about that?
What was that like? Was that like your second intro ever?
Nah, that was like your fourth.
Fourth, probably.
Sounded like your second.
Thank you.
There's a lot of uhs right in there.
Yeah. You said like welcome back to Conversations. You don't want to
It's okay
before.
though. Because it was your fourth though, it's like,
Yeah,
dude, not bad.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you. Sorry, I won't say
You don't need to
anymore.
apologize, man.
Now that you're making it worse by apologizing.
Okay, well, look, guys, I didn't have you on just so you can team up Voltron style against me, okay?
We're not teaming up, man.
Welcome to the Kinjaz Podcast.
Yeah,
Co-host, you forgot co-host of the Kinjaz Podcast,
co-host
man.
of the co-host of the Kinjaz Podcast, Anthony Lee.
Yes. Welcome, Anthony.
Welcome, Anthony. Jeez,
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Is this room, like from the clips that you've seen, does this look different? Is this
No, this looks exactly like the clips I've seen.
Because you know how people say that, like, oh, like I imagine the room to be a lot bigger. Like even with Kinjaz Podcast, like when they see the green room, they're like, oh, it's like
Maybe it's
room.
because I'm familiar with our podcast at my own apartment.
Yeah,
I come in here and I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
True that.
Yeah. Like, well, you know, when I joke around about it falling apart because we used little glue because Vero got mad at me at the last place because it took forever to take it off. So
it's everything's sticking.
Yeah. And when the weather changes, I feel like it just got a little.
You had this up in your
a different one. I couldn't take them off nicely, so.
Were you running a pod at your old spot?
We were doing the beginning of this podcast. Yeah.
Oh, you just moved to this place.
Yeah, recently in the last.
Yeah, you did a
months?
pretty good job of replicating the layout of.
The apartment looks the studio looks
much.
Exactly the same, you know. So
the studio, the
The
multi-million-dollar entertainment studio.
You know what I mean, we rent this place out and
we do. We actually do rent this place out.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I have plans for this. By the way, we'll talk about it.
Okay, cool.
Work, live, loft.
Yes,
that's what it is.
That's what
So
we're
cheers.
doing.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Welcome.
So he really set the bar high, Ryan, when he invited me, and he said, you know, maybe you should take a Uber or a Lyft.
Did you get him his lift?
No, I did not.
Well, luckily for
What are
you,
you doing right now, man?
I don't know. He
The
said
thing
you
is
set
this:
the bar high.
he's a
Two
lot
lifts that
closer.
need to be gotten,
He's a lot
yeah.
closer, but I will get his lift going back.
Hey, it's
Don't worry.
okay,
We got
it's
budget.
okay.
We got budget. A little budget. I just
budget.
gotta break it down a little bit. You know, you got the $20 plus snacks. You know,
Yeah,
and
dude,
then
we got the ojinga.
Yeah, so
you know,
I'm
the dried
doing our
squid.
best.
I just figured like it's like a comedy club, but instead of buying 2 drinks, you got to buy 2 lifts.
Yeah.
In
Yes.
order to participate.
You know what? That's actually a great policy that we'll we'll put it on the board and we'll come back to that later when we have more of a budget.
We're coming on up, man.
Yeah, we are.
We got a little bit.
You know, it's crazy. I bumped in. We went to dinner with someone. I guess it's not that crazy. There's like a couple of degrees of separation, but when I walked in, he was like, "Oh, I saw you on a podcast." And it
Who was this?
It was one of her friends' boyfriends or fiance.
Oh, you mean somebody, a civilian recognized you because they saw you?
Yeah, but I think it's because we have some kind of degree of separation on Instagram or something.
Oh,
so.
I see.
But I
So
still.
was that the first time that happened to you?
Yeah, I guess.
Are you getting famous right now?
Yeah, no, but I've gotten more like Kinja stuff. If I wear stuff, they run up and they're like, hey, what's up? Like I was at just a quick side story, but I was at the airport and I had the Nike Kinjaz jacket, the zip up, the one.
Oh yeah.
That we have, and then I was at the kiosk, and then behind me I was like, just go ask him. I heard someone just ask him, and then like.
You're eavesdropping on this.
No,
conversation
I was doing
behind
something, but you could hear them,
I
and then
get
I
it.
was like, and then the guy walked up to the thing. He was just like, and then he looked over. He's like, hey, and then he just kind of said something, and I was like, yeah, like a Kinja. He's like, oh, cool, that's cool. He just walked away.
Did
So I
you
was
be like, yo, you want my
"You want a picture?
autograph?
You want a
Or
picture?"
like,
No, I wasn't
no?
trying to like overplay it. I was just, that was in the beginning too.
Yeah, you gotta
so
play cool, you
I was
know.
playing it
Yeah,
cool.
that's true.
I was
That's
playing
true.
it cool.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I like it.
So,
I
yeah.
like it. Good
So
job,
anyways.
man. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
What up, Ant?
No, dude, this is Ryan's pod, dude.
This
I'm
is
here.
Ryan's
No,
pod,
don't do
man.
this. Okay.
We're hosting Ryan the guest right here. You know, the Kinja, the newfound glory.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm good.
How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm real good, actually.
Yeah.
Going through some new
Yeah.
things in your life, right? Like, congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you.
Yes, yes,
Congratulations.
yes. That was
You
a rock and roll wedding, man.
Oh, yeah, that
Rock
was.
and
Good
roll
times.
I
wedding.
saw it
Good
on
times.
Instagram.
You know,
So,
yeah.
What's
What's-
Yeah, Wi-Fi, yeah.
That's the.
Yeah, so me and my wife Nina, we eloped last year, and we did that thinking that was it. I think that's like kind of like the initial intention when you do an elopement. It's like, not make a big deal out of it, get it done because you want to get it done for your own like purposeful reasons. Save some money and just kind of go on with the next part of our life, just in holy matrimony. Next thing you know, I remember being at some family gathering. It might have even been like one of our cousins' birthdays or something like that. Yeah, where like everybody on my dad's side of the family is basically in California, or half of them. Other half's in Hawaii. And then I remember just being there, and aunties and uncles just saying whatever the hell they always say, and then them just being like, hey, just because you guys got married like that doesn't mean she's part of the family until she's comes and serves us tea.
Oh, is that a
Wow.
Is that a custom?
That's like the Chinese and Vietnamese style like tea ceremony. Oftentimes we might see it where it's like if like the husband or the groom needs to like go over to the bride's house and then has to play a series of games or like answer some questions and riddles or go through various tasks that like the maid of honor or the bridesmaid puts on them, and then they can enter, and then from there you get on your knees and you're serving the next generation, the older generation, like tea, both sides of the family, right? But because it was my culture, if you will, Nina's Filipina, she didn't have to do that because the woman doesn't have to pass any tests or anything like that. But we just had to do the tea ceremony stuff. So her family came down, my extended family came to my parents' house, this little humble spot in Buena Park. And then we just did the whole ditty and just got on our knees and we're like serving tea to everybody and stuff like that. And that's where they also give you red envelopes and whatnot.
It's all about those red envelopes, though.
And it's actual tea, right? It's not like a. It's
actual
not
tea.
like a code word for something.
Like shrooms or something? Like
no, like Hennessy or something. I know.
No, it's actually
That's
guys
the
like
after
that.
party. That's the after
Yeah,
party.
so like that's kind of cool. Is it like a real intimate, or is it like a little bit more relaxed and you're laughing, or is it like kind of?
I've seen very large families very formally done. This one was very like cozy, humble, like, keeping it real. Like my immediate family, out of like the 11, 12 brothers and sisters that my dad's got, like we are the most economically humble. Like we've always just been that. Matter of fact, like where the rest of my dad's brothers and sisters, like their families and the way they raise their children are very traditionally Chinese. For whatever reason, my family was significantly more Vietnamese. Like me and my sister don't speak Chinese, where all the other ones do. They all went to Chinese school. They all took piano lessons. They all do XYZ certain types of things. And my particular family was very Vietnamese oriented and didn't take all these extracurricular activities outside of scouting, because my dad was a scout troop leader and he started troop.
Does your family take those like wedding traditions very seriously? So who was it that said that you're not actually part of our family until you serve us
Just one
tea?
of my other aunties, but like the kind of like my closest cousin, John, like his parents, aka his dad, is the oldest of the brothers and sisters that's like out here, sans one monk auntie. She's an actual monk.
Okay.
But his wife, because she's like married also to like the kind of like the eldest man in the family, she's also of that kind of hierarchy, if you will. So she's very like we consult her a lot. She's like one of my favorite aunties, just because like she's been around my family and she's been around me when I was growing up, because my cousin's the same age. But like they're very like things have to go a certain way. I think because our family's a little bit more black sheep and has always been kind of like the, you know what I mean, like the ghetto.
Did you get pushback from like your outside of your immediate, but from like the aunties and uncles who were like, yo, why did you go and elope? Like, that's not the way we do things, or was
I
it
wouldn't
kind of more
say pushback,
okay.
but I will say like just like there's a clarity and a definition, and when like she ain't part of the family until like she serves it.
And that's
right?
serious though.
Oh,
That's not
yeah,
a
it
joke.
wasn't
It's
even
like,
like a low-key
there's like a
joke.
little bit of a smirk there, but it's a very serious
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
It's like
for
very
sure, for
serious.
sure, for
It's
sure.
like we can't recognize her as like part of this family.
Uh-huh.
I like
And
that though. That's cool. That
It
they
is
keep
dope.
that
Yeah,
for the-
yeah.
But what's
Mafia
crazy
shit.
is that like again we had no intentions of doing that, but we were like, all right, well we got to do it. So we ended up choosing to do it on September 30th, which was 1 year exactly from the day of our elopement. So we were celebrating our 1 year anniversary on the same day that we were doing our Chinese tea ceremony. And then typically, very Vietnamese fashion and stuff, you go to like some seafood restaurant in, like Westminster.
Yeah.
But oftentimes people do that for dinner because they do this whole reception, the whole nine, right? But we were like, hey, let's just do a lunch, because instead of having like a 4-hour gap from the tea ceremony that's at like 9-10 in the morning, let's just go straight to lunch because everybody be trying to eat anyway.
Yeah.
And all we had truly in our minds, I'm not trying to offend anybody who was an amazing guest who went to our like family dinner, or lunch, but all we had in our mind was like, yo, we just got to get through this, do our duties to our families, and then get on the plane to Vegas, because that's where we're gonna like hang out with like what would have been our bridal party that we never had. So out of the 130 or whatever people that came to this seemingly
Wow,
humble-
130.
yeah,
That's
but
pretty exciting.
I maybe like was cool with 20. You know what I mean?
Oh, meaning you would have had 100+ people at the full wedding.
No, there was over 100 people at like our luncheon.
Oh, damn.
At Diamond Seafood
Oh, those
Plaza
guys, yeah,
number
yeah.
2 or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, my immediate family, and then like the only non-family member that I had there was Mike, who brought Addie.
Yeah.
And then John Shi, because he was taking photos, but
Yeah.
obviously I love John Shi too.
Yeah.
But everybody else was family, direct family,
Wow.
and or
I got some
my
big families,
parents-
man.
Yeah, I'm like,
my parents like friends and stuff. Just people, like parents need to.
For sure.
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
a thing. They just gotta like, we have to invite.
And then my mom be like
so-and-so,
just arm in
so-and-so.
arm
Yeah,
shopping you
yeah.
around, just being like, you remember this person, just
Totally.
embarrassing the crap out of you.
Totally. Yeah.
So we was just trying to take photos with everybody because we had to get through this luncheon and like do honor to our family and tradition.
Yep.
And then literally, I did get faded, and I will say, you have to go around, Vietnamese call it jiao bang, where you have to go to every single table and like, take
Take
a
a
photo,
shot,
cheers, blah, blah. So of course you're like drinking at every single fucking table.
Right.
So I'm pretty litty by the time we're like done with this lunch, and we got to go back all the way to Glendale from like, from fucking Westminster or something. It's like an
Yeah.
hour ride. I couldn't drive, so I need to drive. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna start opening up these envelopes.
Let's get it.
So we just had one of those
Yeah.
like clear boxes that we got off Amazon for you to put like wedding gifts in. Funny thing is, we returned the box on Amazon.
rental.
You just use it once.
It's the hack.
But just being like drunk in the car and just like one envelope at a time and just like writing down the names of everybody who sent stuff in and just like seeing what we got as a wedding gift. And again, I think it was because we had low to no expectation, one, of holding the event, and two, for even like the event in general. I feel like so many times people plan months and put in months of work into their wedding, like from the finer details, from the way that the flowers are arranged to like who's sitting where to this and that. But I think because we were doing it for our parents, we really let them dictate whoever, wherever, whatever. You know what I mean? That it was a lot more just like, just let them do, like we're doing it for them kind of thing too. That everything was just like a gift. Everything was like a surprise.
Yeah.
There wasn't like this aura of stress. Again, it was just getting through
you
it.
couples, you mother freakers that got after the pandemic. If I had just waited a year,
Yeah, because you hit your wedding like right before.
6 months before
That's
the
right.
pandemic, so we had to do a full blown. We did.
But it was sick though, bro. You guys had a dope wedding.
yeah. But you know what would have been sick too? Like
To not
having a
have to-
house. You know what I mean? No.
You know what helps though, in a weird way. Like Mike and Addie, pre-pandemic, they got married, and they didn't have a wedding because, granted, their lives, there was a whole different circumstance, and I'm not privy to share on this podcast, but like that, like forced them to, in a timely manner, get their thing privately done. But I wasn't even invited out to that, and like I would have just. Maybe for years when you like grow up with your boy, you're just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna be the best man at your wedding type thing, and then it's like you're not even invited. I'm no shade, but just genuinely like because you don't have that lived experience.
Yeah, it's just life.
But what you do have as a lived experience is knowing one of your closest homies got through life without needing to throw a wedding. You're kind of like, what do I got to throw a wedding for?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Man, weddings are overrated, dude. Let's just cancel weddings.
weddings
man.
are not overrated. It's just the way that weddings have to be puffed up.
True,
they
true.
become overrated.
Oh.
It just depends on like,
I mean, at the end of the day, wedding is just a ceremony.
yeah.
And if you, it's also when you go through those channels of like coordinators and this and that, and then you're like a florist and you're like, what is this for? You're like, a wedding. They're like, oh, X 3 times. You know what I mean? So
Okay,
it's like,
so let me ask you guys: do you guys feel that you really ever wanted that big wedding, or do you feel like you would do it because you know that your wife wants that big wedding?
I mean, I don't know. I can.
I always grew up thinking I would have had a big wedding.
Same.
Like, imagine my proposal.
It's pretty grand.
Like, think
Yeah.
about my
Yeah,
proposal.
yeah, you
and
went
then-
all out. You went
And
all
then
out.
think about the wedding that I might have had. If I would have just had Kinjaz and their plus ones there and my family, that's already, we're already talking like, let's bring 200 people to
That's
this
yeah.
damn shit.
That's like
true,
yeah.
true, true.
And we ain't even
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
outside of that. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But so I always imagined it. But I gotta say, now that I've experienced the elope private situation, me and her on the island, like with the gods of Maui, to
Bro, okay, what was that like? Because I never asked you. Like, what was
just
that like?
to finish this thought, and then going into like a extremely exclusive family thing that like did service to like my family, our tradition, our culture, and then taking it to Vegas and like getting married by Elvis.
That was pretty
You know
sick.
what I mean? With
Yeah.
like, you know, our bridal party just like there, and it's not even just like a one moment. It's like a whole weekend of activities that usually the bridal party has to put in the work and plan everything. We planned everything so that everybody could just show up and have fun.
Yeah.
And then that just made it so that her friends and my friends could come together, meet, click, and just like be stress free. And I just feel like having what we thought was a private thing turned into like 3 wedding events was more full than I think putting together one glorious
One
sure.
night,
grand
yeah.
wedding.
Yeah,
One
for
night,
sure,
I
for
don't
sure.
even remember. I mean, like, I didn't even drink. I had one drink. I was just so worried about everyone else having fun. And by the time it was done, I was like, even for me, I was like, damn it, I didn't even get a videographer. Because I missed everybody else's, how much they were having fun or whatever.
The only
you know?
thing I didn't have at my wedding that I joke about this guy's though is a performance from the Kinjaz.
Oh, yeah.
That, yes,
It
that
wasn't
did
epic.
happen.
Yeah, you guys
That
definitely
did
put
happen.
up like my brownie points for all my nieces and nephews and cousins and stuff. So like legit my whole life my dad's been saying like, oh yeah, you know, like you're not gonna be a doctor or this and that, so your cousins are gonna look down on you and this and that. And it was like I felt like that was a
So
moment.
Kin
when
just
all
made
the-
up for all that?
I think so, yeah.
We
Like
like-
where it was like they were like proud, you know.
Next time that dude at the airport is like, hey man, just ask him. You better turn around and be like, hey, you want this photo?
Well, it was really
Yeah,
early in
you
the
have the
morning.
tat, right?
Yeah, I got
See,
the tat.
bro? Come
Hey,
on,
but
dude.
it's also I'm humble. Like I'm not trying to.
Are you
know,
humble?
Shut the.
This guy, I never seen this guy be a dick
I-
to anybody.
I only do
Dude,
it to this guy.
By the way,
No
didn't we
one.
say that we weren't gonna be dicks to each other, right?
This is his love language for you though. It's
See,
like a
this is
unique,
it. I realized it.
it's a
not
unique
me.
love language.
Because I've been good. I've been on a good.
Yeah, you have been
I've been
good.
on
You
a good
actually
tip,
have been
dude.
really good.
I'm
You're
like,
doing- you're
liking
doing
all
great,
your
man.
photos. Like hell yeah,
Yeah,
thumbs
yeah,
up on
yeah.
the comments.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
you
say
haven't
shit.
you haven't hit me with a TFTI
I
in a
don't say shit.
minute.
Ryan
You-
is the most notorious TFTI
You're the king
for
of
sure.
TFTI.
Sometimes I'll be honest, guys. And I know
haven't
you
hit
know
me with
this.
one.
Like I'm just like, and they're like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
get it.
like,
I get it. Yeah,
you know?
I know.
But,
It's that's your default.
it is my default.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
It's just like to let you know that I
Want
even
to
though I
make you
wasn't
feel
invited-
bad.
No, I wasn't invited, but I wish I could have been there because it looks amazing. That's what I'm actually saying, you know.
Yeah, I only.
You know,
hit
if you
with
just say,
TFTIs.
"Yo, that looks amazing,"
that, yeah, without
Whoa,
having,
that
right,
you might get invited
Look,
next time.
right.
Look,
right.
let's take baby
Just say
steps
what
here,
you
okay?
mean, bro. Don't disguise it.
No, I'm not like.
I'm just kidding, dude. That's your love language.
That's
it is my love
that's like,
language.
you know, when people bust people's balls, right? It's like, man, you know I love you, bro. It's like, bro, just tell me that you love me then.
Yeah, I mean, all right.
You
so,
don't need to bust my balls.
So then, are we gonna go back to busting each other's balls, or are we like
Nah, dude, that was
trying to be
No,
supportive?
you're right.
you
You're right.
know?
You're right. I messed up, dude. Hey, you know what? Yeah. I
Just
messed-
on camera, we gotta be like this. And then off, we gotta, you know.
Yeah. True
supportive
that.
as hell,
You
you know?
know?
Thumbs
Now,
up
let's
on
go
your
back.
post.
Okay, hold on. We derailed. We derailed
sorry.
ourselves, man. I would love to know what that elopement in Hawaii, because I only saw through photos, and those photos looked amazing. I saw some videos as well. But, like, what was that like? Going from, I thought I was going to have this grand wedding, and it's like, yo, you know what? It's a weird time in this world. how about me and you go do this thing that's just between me and you? Like, what was that like for you?
For sure. I mean, I think context is important. Number one, it's like, you know, that the entire like wedding thing it's a huge undertaking. It's like months of planning. Things got to be a certain type of perfect, and financially it's a thing. Regardless if like your culture is gonna like pay you back for it in some certain way, it's still a large undertaking, right? And I'm just gonna keep it plain and honest right now. That was also, I was super heavily invested in the crypto that year, right? And nothing that was gonna like derail the entirety of my life.
Sure.
You know me, like I take big gambles and big risks, but I don't like do it so irresponsibly that I'm like literally, I'm not leveraging my car or anything like that.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But you know, I was heavily invested in some Luna, and then there was this out of nowhere, out of the blue market crash for just that thing because there was it got derailed based off of XYZ. And I lost over $1 million in less than 36 hours.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Holy crap.
I lost a lot.
Wow.
And it was straight up like one of probably the biggest life lessons that I've ever, had to literally pay to learn. And definitely changed a lot of my perspective on just so many things, but it put me in a position where I wasn't financially comfortable investing in something like a wedding. Especially the concept of like, and even without going into that kind of a giant loss, there was already fleeting, thoughts in my mind of this whole monopoly on the wedding industry that's like, you're supposed to like pay XYZ amount, and then you enter your marriage, or you enter your union in more debt.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, totally.
And Nina's, she's also got her like school loans and stuff for going to her doctorate school for OT. So it's like
there's all these expenses.
Like I'm going into this union thinking like we multiple six figures in debt, and it's kind of like I was already a little bit like, do we have to play that game? You know me, I just think frugal thoughts like that sometimes. Yeah. And then I lose like big money in a short period of time, and the next thing you know, like I didn't have the backbone and the heart to be like, let me go for this all-out wedding. Because at the end of the day, I think that also just like maybe served my ego to like have everybody witness and celebrate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a part of that was just kind of like tough to both like put aside, because I definitely have that wanting everybody to be there for sure, but then maybe my natural instinct or my personality reversed me to the extreme psycho other side. And then that's what led to like just after, and we were starting to plan our wedding too, and then I just remember there being a moment, just this kind of like joking. It wasn't like a haha joke, it was like a joke like, let me get this off my chest, like what if forget all this plan, because we were starting to look at venues, we're starting to plan, we're starting invite lists, we had a whole in our notes, you know what I mean, we had 150 something about, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And already just being like, what if we just freaking eloped, dude? And then
Wait, first of all, just quick, between like knowing that you planned, what was your number of guests? Like, what was that? What did you guys hit?
I was trying to keep it under 200.
Under 200. Wow, that would have been tough.
Yeah.
It was tough because I was already
between both of y'all. That's crazy.
Well, the thing is, she doesn't have a huge family like me.
You know, already your family's like 70
and then she has like regular friends where Kinja's got like 40 people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like, we already got some extracurricular weird shit that's going on anyway. That like, it was for me, it was about cutting people.
Right.
For her, it was about finding people.
Right.
And then that also made it a little bit like, well, like I'm cutting somebody that maybe like I really care about. You're finding somebody to like even things out, but you don't actually like talk to this. You know what I'm saying?
You don't have to.
It becomes like a whole thing,
yeah.
and then all this blah blah blah. And there's like internal family politics that come into play.
For sure.
You're just sitting there doing all this mumbo jumbo because you think you're supposed to. And we just had this one defining moment. I think we was chilling in the car and just like, yo, what if we just freaking elope? And I think there was just that like, I don't know, just that moment where she didn't say no. That like that's like the pilot
spark.
light. That's just that moment that just suddenly an idea gets incepted and won't die. You know what I mean?
I think that's a great thing because you now have 3 separate memories of your marriage, of your wedding. Whereas like even for me, that like I said, that night was like a flash in the pan, and I'm like, I remember bits and pieces, but it's like I feel like you have specific memories of each one. Where it's like, I think that's the way to do it, to be honest. I think you guys.
Well, as long as both of y'all feel good about it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the
we
most important thing.
We talked about it after like completing everything, like all 3. Because I think after the first one, and I'll get to the details of what the elopement felt like. After eloping and stuff like that, there's like you're totally satisfied, but you do have a little bit of like, what if?
Right.
What if?
Right.
You know,
Right.
like,
Yeah,
you
for
just,
sure.
your imagination
Yeah,
can
yeah,
run
of
wild.
course.
But you're so logical and practical that you can justify and validate everything and the decisions and why you didn't. You know, every now and then you go to somebody else's wedding and you witness like the magic of their moment and like the camaraderie and the celebration of everybody together. And so you have that flicker of just like, oh,
You are
know,
romantic.
What if? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we somehow ended up doing what we did. And, you know, because of the traditions of our culture and stuff, even all three of those weddings, so to speak, we're still net positive.
See,
You know what I mean?
that's
Because
what's up.
of like our aunties and uncles and friends and people that just like gave us money
Oh.
and how like low key we did everything, that it's like, whoa, that like I feel like everything that I was worried about like didn't come to fruition. Everything that I was afraid I might miss, we got tenfold. You know what I mean? Because even like in Vegas, it was like concentrated time with the people we cared most about.
for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I
think
mean?
that's-
Versus like thinking about 1,700
Here,
things
here,
at
yeah,
the same
yeah.
time. Even though everybody's there, you're just thinking about everything. It's like we was already married so much that like when we went to, the funny thing is you was at that Elvis Chapel in Vegas. It's like we were supposed to get a smaller Elvis Chapel, but you know we had 20-something people, so it couldn't fit in that chapel. So they gave us a bigger one. We looked at the photos of the bigger one. We're like, no, this is too nice. It's too nice. We don't want it to feel like too serious. So that's why I went on Amazon and ordered tuxedo t-shirts for everybody because I just wanted the vibe to be chill.
The vibe was
I almost
fun.
wore that tonight.
The
We-
vibe
to be
was
honest
fun.
with you,
The
I
vibe was
almost
real
wore
fun.
Yeah, we already got married. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But to get back to the elopement in Maui, I think Maui was really, really important. One, she's got family there. I got family in Hawaii. Like my parents got met and got married in Hawaii.
You spent some time in Hawaii in your life, right?
Yeah. When my parents couldn't afford to feed me when I was a
Yeah.
kid, at 4 years old, they like sent me out to live with my grand aunt in Hawaii. That's why I learned Chinese. It was my first language. It was crazy shit. But we go to Maui and we don't tell our families because there's just a lot. And we just like, that was the whole point, to like not have to deal with a lot, but just to like do something for ourselves that was like affordable, but also like a dream situation. It was still a dream thing for us to like get married in Hawaii, right? And we go there, and other than like the videographer that we hired because we wanted a Super 8 film, to a photographer that like Nina found because like she just does things a certain way that Nina really, really loved. And then the dude we call Kuya, this Filipino guy who's our officiant, and it's not like overly religious, like to the gods of like Maui and stuff, you know what I mean? So he's got this giant seashell and he's like blowing it in every direction as like, you know, puts out energy to.
Wow,
to
so it's just y'all three and then a camera person.
yeah,
Wow.
Oh wow.
Super intimate.
yeah, just
And
like
where was this in the timeline of things? This was first.
this is September 30th
okay.
in 2022.
Okay.
And I would say the most interesting feeling, other than the excitement of like, obviously we was getting, the funny thing was like getting ready first, right? When you're getting ready, but it's like just you two, it's like I'm getting ready by myself in the room because she's getting ready and I'm like, she still wants to like surprise me with her outfit and stuff. So hair and makeup, or the photographer is like, you know, all around her. And I'm like in we had a little villa called Hotel Wailea in Maui. And I was just in the separate room, just suiting up by myself. There's just like this tranquil quietness, you know what I mean? That was just, everything was so calm. If anything, like I spent extra times like just reading the words in my vow and just like sitting in a very slow and like nothing else in the world existed. There's no noise, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then finally I get walked out and I go to this different area of the hotel, and then I'm just standing there, and then she comes and surprises me, and I turn around and it's the same thing. It's just her and it's just me. And like everything was like in one way perfect, but like absolutely still and quiet. And then when we go and do everything too, it's like there was no distraction. You know, the funny guy I might be, if I'm writing my vows, I'm gonna entertain the
Yeah,
crowd.
for sure.
Yes.
You're an entertainer.
But there was no crowd.
Real
Right,
quick, when you were
right.
getting ready, were you you were completely by yourself, and the photographer was
Completely
nowhere?
by myself.
She was with her,
Yeah.
or like
In just the room next door.
Because that's kind of
Wow.
cool. Because when everyone you see the dude doing it's the photographer telling you, so you're just like
It's all performative.
It's all performative, and
Yeah.
you're not. Exactly. There's that moment of just where you're just like, oh, I'm about to do this. We're gonna do this. That
That's
I
crazy.
can completely imagine, and how the photographer there completely ruins that kind of moment where every groom probably doesn't feel that. That goes through the the basic, or not basic, but the quintessential thing of getting ready and putting on the cufflinks and your best man putting on your tie and stuff, and it's just like it's kind of beautiful.
I was about
I didn't
to
know
say,
you're such a romantic.
like, knowing you, Ant, not to be like, oh, like, everything that you do has got to be this like grand thing, but like, as you were saying, like, if you knew that there are people that are gonna be there, like, you would want to sort of make it so that
subconsciously I'll probably have some jokes in there that I know
because that's in your nature.
Yeah.
But like, for you to know that, like, yo, this is just me and my wife to be, and then the person who's gonna just officiate the wedding, like, that is a whole different type of experience, I would imagine, in your head. Like, yo, I'm only here for her.
It was so concentrated, and it was
That's so sick.
and nobody knew. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was like genuinely like,
Literally
this
nobody
is really
knew.
us. And the crazy thing is, like, after like the quote unquote ceremony, or like, rings, blah blah blah, usually that's when like giant celebration and whatnot, right? After we officially get married, we were done.
Dang.
And there was no, and we're an hour away from our hotel because we had to drive to this like remote area in Maui, and we're in the car. We borrowed her sister, and her man. They had left for the weekend, and we told them we were just gonna stay there.
Oh.
And when they picked us up at the airport, they're like, "Why you got so much damn luggage?" And we were like, "Oh yeah, But then we were just staying there, so we like borrowed their car. So we're like in their Tesla and stuff like that. So even the Tesla's fucking quiet.
Right, yeah.
So everything just has this weird silence to it.
Bro, what was that drive like, dude?
And then it was like,
what did you guys talk about?
it was crazy because we were like, should we like tell somebody now? You know what I mean? We're like, should we like hit somebody up? We're like, oh, we gotta hit somebody, but like not our families. We gotta like tell our families all together.
Yeah,
It's like somebody we just want to hit up real quick we know is just gonna be like fun.
What? Yeah.
So we called Charles.
The best one, right?
Yeah, we just FaceTime
Yes.
Charles, you know what I mean?
Amazing.
We just like
Okay.
had like a dope moment just to be like, yo.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, what's up? And it's like, why are you in a suit? And then like look at Nina, she's like in her whole dress and stuff in the cartoon, like, oh snap. So just like having one private moment to share. And then when we get back to the hotel too, again, itinerary's done. We just have a dinner like at the hotel.
Yeah.
So the crazy thing was thinking like, okay, and then luckily we got hooked up because like my now sister-in-law's man, or now husband, works in like the hospitality and hotel stuff and restaurants and whatnot. So he knows the owner of that hotel, which is why we got a discount and whatnot. So he showed up to dinner and they got like champagne and wine and stuff in a bucket as gifts for us, So it's kind of like felt like a nice, okay, we got our moment.
Someone knows, or someone's there for us.
But when we flew into Maui, that was the first order of business: get married, and then we had a week-long vacation. Or like 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we got the marriage out the way, and now we're on our unofficial honeymoon, private.
That's tight, dude.
So it was
That's
it was
super
amazing in a way that I would have never expected.
I feel like what's sick about that is that you guys prepared for what like marriage is gonna be. It's not like I'm going to do a wedding, which is essentially it's a party.
For everyone
it's a party,
else.
right? It's just like we're gonna throw a huge party and we're gonna like do this ceremonial thing that's tied into this party. But you guys kept it super low key. You got ready by yourself. There was no audience there other than a photographer, and it's this. And then even the drive back home, quiet. It's like, should we call somebody? Like just one person? It's not like we're gonna freaking announce it to the world. It's like, let's just call somebody, right? It's just you're preparing for marriage, which is the day-to-day normal. A lot of it is quiet.
A lot of silence.
A lot of it is. You want to talk about something? and a lot of it is very sort of normal, not this extravagant. It's not like every day's a wedding. Every day is marriage. You know what I mean? Every day is like, yo, it's me and you, right? And going through the good stuff together, going through the tough stuff together. Like I think you going into that in the way that you did, I wouldn't have expected it, but like also knowing you, the other side of you, that I'm like, that actually really makes sense. Like the practical, like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, let's be like smart about this. You know what I mean? That's
I have
dope.
a question. Now that you guys are married, I mean, you guys kind of lived with each other for at least a year, couple years. It's been
We've been living with each
5,
other
6
for a
years.
while now. I
Yeah.
think since 2016.
16. Wow,
Yeah.
that since
Was
16.
the Alhambra spot the first time?
Oh, okay.
That's right. That's right.
So then, like, now that you are married, is it different? Do you feel like it's different? Is it kind of the same, or is it like, do you, because marriage, like you were together, you live with. We didn't live together before when we were dating. It was until after we got married. Then we literally the week after.
You and Vera didn't live together.
I mean,
before?
she slept over at my place here and there, like
Hey,
like 2-3 times a week.
Okay. Okay. Your parents know about this?
Because we're married.
It's okay. It's okay.
But yeah,
They forget.
you'll know it. You know what something what I'm talking about. But like, yeah. So anyway, so like, yeah. Do you feel like it's been different? Do you feel like it's like rejuvenated, like that honeymoon, like the honeymoon stage, or like, is it kind of just like you guys are like solid? You guys are just now just a different step, different chapter in your lives.
If I were to visualize it, right, it's like when you're in a relationship, from the moment that you start until the moment that you like deepen it to where you think about marriage, it's like might be a slow and steady pace, but it's always going upwards, right? I think that moment of marriage definitely like spikes it, but then it doesn't settle back down in the same line. It just settles down in like a different plane.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow.
You know what I mean? So like, even though every variable is the same, we like live in the same spot, we're still sleeping right next to each other, like her closet space, whatever, like the ingredients of like our lifestyle aren't different. Everything's different at the same time. You know what I mean? I would relate it to like seasoning on food. You might have every freaking ingredient there, but like when you put seasoning on something, it's like a totally different flavor. And it's the smallest thing, but just the idea of adding salt, you know what I mean, changes the entire flavoring of everything.
Yeah.
You don't see it. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's not the main ingredient, but it changes everything.
Yeah. Salt, you mean children, right? Like. Hey, yo, sorry.
You want to talk about something?
No, we don't. We're good. We have no kids. You know what I mean? That's why it's all sweetness. It's all sweetness.
It's all sweetness. It's all just sugar.
It's all sugar.
I think,
Sugar or agave. It's all agave.
I heard one of those like metaphors one time that I feel like perfectly really rounds it out. It's like when you talk about how like if you have, a jar and you just put a bunch of rocks in that jar and it's like it's full. You think it's full until you take like smaller rocks and you put it in, they fill in all the crevices and you're like, all right, then you take sand and then it still has a bunch of space to go and you're like, all right, now we're really full. Then somebody takes like a cup of water and pours in and it still continues to like seep through every grain and you're like, you didn't know that you could continue filling up this bucket, this jar, but like the thing is it's not full until you go like 6-7 levels farther than you had thought was full, So
Wow. Got hella deep.
Wow, dude. No, honestly, I've been married longer, but that's actually a good analogy of like, it's beautiful. I know it sounds insincere when I say it like that, but it is because.
Say more, bro.
No, it's just like I think you have a good grasp on it, a good idea of like marriage, because it's like, even for us, it's always when something new happens, I'm like, I freak out. I'm like, oh, it's not the way it's, like this is the way it was, and you gotta just expect more, I guess, right? So
and in the non-poetic, more tangibly objective ways, things that like truly changed like immediately after is really committing and knowing like, oh, your family is my family, and like the way you
that's
treat
the hardest
that,
part.
You know what I mean? The way that I'll engage in like text messages or like just choosing to call her sister's like sister now and just like deepening that bond, that's crazy. Or like looking at our financials and now being like, I didn't sign no prenup, so your financials are mine. Your debt is mine.
Yeah.
Just as mine might be yours.
I think I just learned something right now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
okay.
like we
But-
just went into
got
it like
it.
that.
I like, so with her and your family, because obviously she's Filipina and your family is Viet Chinese, right? So it's like, I feel like maybe it might be easier for you to bond or to get along with her family. Do they welcome? Is there like a break between their like communication or anything? Like,
I won't say it has anything to do with culture more than it has to do with the fact that her parents can speak English a lot better than my parents.
I see. Yeah, that is
I think that's like the bigger difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also actually, here's just a giant difference in our families in general. Her family it's like a matriarch, right? So it's like her mom's at the time.
Oh.
And she has 3 older sisters. She's the youngest, but they're all half sisters because those sisters' dad like left and did his other thing. So the other Nina's dad who married in, that's Nina's dad. That's Nina's dad.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah,
came
yeah,
into
yeah.
the relationship with Nina like 10 years ago, everybody else was just calling Tito. You know what I'm saying? So, and which I still do, but I'm just saying like, so now I'm also the only one in the family that can call him Pops. Nobody else does. Only me and Nina. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that family dynamic is so different. Whereas like my family, my dad's the man of the house. Period. You know, it's traditional Chinese, Vietnamese.
How is
Asian.
that the family's dynamic, like the coming together of two families? Is that
I think super chill.
Pretty
like,
chill? Sick.
Like I think all the and there's just so much estrogen. By the way, I have a sister. She has 3 sisters. She's a girl herself. That's a matriarch. There's just so much womanly energy. All the dudes know that the smartest, safest, and happiest way to live is to always just take a backseat in Family Matters. All the dudes
So smart,
are
man.
we're
That's
always
like-
just
that's
like,
like
that
maturity
is
right there.
that's wisdom right there.
That is wisdom.
That's
I'm still learning that.
it's like if you guys get in a
now.
fight, it's like nobody even takes sides. We just like let you guys are upset, let you guys deal. We'll go off and we'll grab a drink or we'll chill out. We'll talk some sports. Like just do your thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then again, our parents, I think they're like super just chill with each other. But I think my parents just have a little bit of a hard time speaking English. So it's like, you know, everything's nice, but they don't hang out all the
no
time.
real.
Yeah.
So is this the first? Oh, it's gonna be the first holiday season that you guys are,
Married,
or
yeah.
or no? Did you guys do it last year?
Well,
already?
the thing is, it's not like we don't bring our families together
Oh, I see.
specifically
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
like
you guys go do the.
But
all
do
the
go
daughters,
here, go here.
all the daughters basically are married. My sister's married too, so that would be like way
Too
too
much,
many
yeah.
a lot of-
extended
yeah,
families
yeah, true.
to come together.
It'd be
But
too expensive to number one, like to find a place.
so like for example, Thanksgiving, like we'll go down to my sister's for like my family stuff. And then we'll take it up, or for like breakfast, lunch, brunch, and then
Yeah.
we'll take it up to Thanksgiving dinner with Nina's family.
Got it.
And then
Yeah.
on occasion, another day, we'll do like my dad's extended family, giant family Thanksgiving or potluck or whatever, you know. But it's not like our families get together too much.
I'm learning so much. Like we've never talked about this kind of stuff, so it's
Yeah,
like,
I'm
This
learning.
is all personal, boring shit. Let's
This
get
is
this
boring?
podcast
Should we
turn it
way
up?
more
Do you
relatable.
Should we
talk
turn it
about-
up?
Here, cheers.
What's up?
Here, yeah, let's go. Wait, like let's take the shot. Let's take the full thing.
This is like such basic, private,
Dude,
boring
this is so
shit. man.
boring.
But let me ask you this: you don't talk about this on podcasts because you do the JK News. You guys have other stuff where you guys are like. I feel like no one asked Anthony, "How are you doing?"
Because
Like,
we got to talk about some shit that's going to hit the social activations, get ourselves some
all right,
sponsors.
all right.
Get
I
the
you know what? I wasn't
algorithm
gonna bring this
spiking.
up, but I will bring this. I will. I do have a question for
Ooh, I
you.
am so curious what you're about
I
to say
have a
right
question for you. So, within the last couple of years, right? So, I gotta ask,
now. I'm gonna dip.
why'd y'all cut me out of the dojo for a farewell video? We were,
Wait. What?
you know, the dojo video where it was like the end, like the last video where we made like kind of like there was like a tribute video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got interviewed and I remember, and I know why, because after watching the video, everyone was like so positive and they were like kind of like telling them everything. And I was just like, I'm devastated. It's the worst thing that ever happened. And I was very negative. It was to the point where like Addie was like, okay, cut, cool, Ryan, thank you. And I was just like,
I don't
man,
even know if I was in the dojo.
I think you might have been,
I might have been in the background or something like that. But
maybe, but yeah. Why was
So
I cut out?
I got 2 questions for you.
I love
Number
this.
one, why didn't you ask Mike?
Wouldn't ask Mike?
Why didn't you ask Mike?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Especially if you're bringing in Addie saying blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's...
That's a little weird.
That's a good. Okay,
That's a
all
little
right.
weird.
No.
And the second question is, if you already know the answer, why you asking me right now?
Well, I was actually curious.
You know, I will say, though, one of Kinjaz is, like, kind of flaws in a different way, but maybe it's also our strength. I think that's the double-edged sword of everything beautiful in life, is that we're not good at, like, talking about our hardships. We might do it in like select small conversations, but we've never
Yeah,
like as
true.
a collective, as a group, as a company, as a brand, gone out and talked about like, this is why this happened. Unfortunately, this happened. You know, blah blah. Like we need help, or like this is like really really sad. Like a lot of personal voices will do that, but like as a group or a company, even during the pandemic, we went through. I genuinely believe to this moment that Kinjaz went through especially as a dance brand and company, probably more shit than any other dance brand or company out there in the game. I would argue that, period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's like, but we never talked about it like that, you know? And that's, again, whether it's to our fault or to our pride or to our strengths, whatever it is, it was just never really our thing to like air out that laundry in that way. It was like maybe just that Asian dad in all of us to just be like, carry on, keep your head up, keep your chin up, just walk forward. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you lost everything, just walk forward and try your best to keep everybody like happy and inspired and stuff like that. I don't know. Whereas you got guys like Sean Evaristo, you know what I mean, with ML and stuff like that, you know, and like you're seeing IG reels and clips where he's in tears talking about things that like, you know, blindsided him and like mistakes and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you see the community rally with love and truth in the rebirth and the resurgence of like ML. So it's kind of like, you know, I think there's a beautiful like ride in that sense, whereas like we had a fucking ride as well, but maybe just didn't like talk about it in a certain way. And I think that was to our fault and maybe also to what makes us what we are as well.
No, I agree. I mean, I joke around, but I did talk to Mike about it, and it was off camera. It was privately.
Don't save yourself right now, dude.
I'm gonna ask Mike.
Ask him. Ask him. He came over one time. We had Kogi outside.
Oh, yeah,
we
that's
got
right.
drunk together,
guys
and
were
we
having
just
dinner.
talked about stuff. And I had told him everything. So we talked about.
I'm glad you did, bro. I'm glad you did.
And that's why me and Mike are closer. You know what I mean?
That's
so
what's
it's like,
up.
It's like me just doing this now is just. Well, I get it. I mean, I watched it and I was like, oh, okay. Because everybody
Hey, don't
was
feel
so
bad,
like,
bro. I think I was cut out too, bro.
No,
I didn't even realize, but you just reminded me.
Yeah, but
Ouch.
I'll go on YouTube.
Ouch, bro. That
we'll
hurts,
look it up
dude.
again.
That hurts.
We'll look it up.
We all get cut out of stuff though. More
I
than we
get cut
think.
out a lot.
More than we think.
But you know, I think to what you're saying though, Ant, I think that's really big. In not even like, you know, like what we did as a brand or as a company. I think there's something there though too, right? Like, you know, I think I learned a lot through the past 3 years because of COVID, right? You know, we think there's these best practices of what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to like protect, what you're supposed to allow people into and not into. And like, I just feel like, man, humanity at its best and worst was shown in the past 3 years, and like the spectrum of it all. And it was just a huge learning experience, you know what I mean? And yeah, you're right, man. Like we you know, it's everything's in hindsight. Like, yeah, we could have, you know, done this and invited people into this or that. But like, I think what is important is where is everybody at now? And I love the fact that we can talk candidly about this stuff, you know what I mean, on a very public platform. And you know, even as we were just like walking into outside when I met you outside, we're just like, yo, man, how's life? Like, what are you up to? What's in your headspace? What's good? And it's cool to be able to just be like, man, I'm just like, I just want to champion my boys. I just want to champion my family. I just want to support, and then also be able to just like open up, like, man, like this has been tough, and like at the end of the day, man, everybody's just trying to live life in the best way possible, and like brand business. Put that aside, man. At the end of the day, Kinjaz was brotherhood at all costs, in the you know, from the very, very beginning. Kin at all costs from the very, very beginning. And I think that is the strength of this whole thing. And to be able to like talk about a huge life milestone of like marriage and like whatever else is next, right? And like, thank God we're still alive. Thank God we still are able to do what we do and do what we love, and then also transition and pivot and iterate and figure it out, and then like collaborate, invite people in, tap in with each other, and just like, bro, this is what we've been doing our entire lives as dancers, you know what I mean, as entrepreneurs. That's the name of the game. It's just like, what are the pieces in front of me? All right, let's make something here, you know what I mean. That's like the way that we've been doing this whole thing. So man, it's bro, yes. That's a cheers moment for sure.
And another thing, if I could say right now, have you considered going into acting? Like, I know we talked about it because you look like you should be an actor when I look at you. You're done the dance thing.
I look fake, huh?
No, you're.
I know what you're saying.
Look, man.
I got your back. I got your back on this one.
I don't want to blow you up and make your head any bigger, because we had to go and walk around you like, hey, well, let me get around you, play it. Ranyo? Yeah, no,
I didn't say all that. You said
I didn't
that.
say that. That's a Martin thing, okay?
I'm like,
Anyway,
damn it, you
Martin
took
Lawrence,
that really far,
shout out to
man.
Martin. No, but like when I look at you like even when you're doing your thing with like Jackson and like interacting with like just Asian stars or whatever, like I feel like your next step is to be like. You know what I mean? Like Mike is going to the Korea. Now you gotta go to
Mike's going to Korea.
You gotta go
Mike's
to China,
K-pop.
You know, like you know what I mean? Like your guys' next step is to be like you guys are dancers, right? You guys are doing and you do the JK News, but no, like you I feel like your next growth is like you, Anthony, the funny dude in the room, like the witty guy that I know, like that has like witty ass jokes and like you know what I mean, like that charisma that you have. It's like I feel like I could see that on the like big screen. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to blow you up. And maybe if you do it, and I'm like, maybe actually, I think maybe you shouldn't do it. I'll be honest with you if you ever do that.
Why you gotta take it negative, bro?
It's okay. I appreciate that.
No, because I'm not trying to kiss his. I'm not saying.
I
I'm
get
saying,
it.
you know?
No, I appreciate that because there's definitely a growing seedling in me that like finds curiosity in that. I'll keep it 100. One, in high school, the only class I did fucking amazing at was drama. I went into drama 1. I did so amazing. I don't want to say so amazing. I did good enough that the drama teacher, and this is such a stupid thing of mine because, you know, in high school you're an idiot.
Hold on to it, but yeah.
In high school you're an idiot, right? She looked at me, she's like, hey, don't go to drama 2. I'll put you in drama AP next year if you want to do it. And I remember this moment, and I looked over and I looked at the AP drama kids, and I thought they were fucking losers.
Yes.
And I was like, nah, I'm good, and I bounced. But little did I know, I was the loser. Yeah. I looked like an idiot. Anyways, that's not the point. I was fat. Anyways, I went to the science class every lunchtime. I played Magic the Gathering. I was a fucking nerd.
But
Like,
no,
if I saw my high
cool,
school self, I might
cool
slap him once or
Those
twice.
are the cool kids now, though.
Hey, man.
It wasn't cool at the time. It wasn't trending.
No.
Hey,
You were
JGL.
just a front runner, baby.
JGL loved Magic the Gathering. I messed up. I didn't hang out with him, dude.
Yeah.
I messed up.
But point is, I knew that there was something about me that enjoyed that stuff, right? And I think that it's really funny that you bring that up right now because it wasn't more, I guarantee you, less than a month ago, within the last month, I texted Lawrence Cal and I said, hey, in whatever script or movie that you make in the future that like you're the head of, put a part in there for me. And he's like, I got you, bro. And it was just like on a whim.
Yeah, I love it.
That
It's
I'm
dope.
like, I want to exercise this curiosity. But, like, I ain't gonna fucking go to school, move to Hollywood like them losers. You know what I mean?
Bro, you
Do
think
auditions.
The Rock?
No,
Do you think The Rock took drama class? No,
You
he
know what I'm
started
saying?
making movies, bro.
Yeah, yo.
God,
I'm like,
dude, what do you mean? He
you gotta
did, like,
jump
he did
cut that
wrestling.
shit with your
Yeah,
network,
bro,
you know?
that's it.
No, he did wrestling, which is very like caricature, very like.
what do you think
open.
dancing is,
That's
bro?
what I'm saying.
It's the same
just
thing.
You already got it. You already know how to like.
He's the Rock of
turn it on
dancing.
stage.
I don't know about that.
You are the
No,
Rock
I'm the
of
Vince
dancing.
Vaughn of dancing. Says Keone.
Yes, you are.
Says Keone.
I love Vince Vaughn, though, man.
Yeah, I can
Vince
see that.
Vaughn is
Or
dope.
you look. I mean, people probably say you kind of resemble John Cho. Has anyone told you that?
That's racist.
That is racist. This
Why,
is
'cause
called
he's Korean and
Conversations. We don't invite racism here, dude. We're trying to elevate our culture.
Okay,
here.
sorry.
But yeah,
he doesn't look like John Cho.
I would love to. I would love to.
Okay. So without feeding that to you, like, oh, have you ever decided or thought about pursuing acting? What is like sort of your mindset right now? Like, what's your focus in terms of like, you know, like let's just not even go like super macro. Like, let's take 5 years out.
To make this conversation interesting, but to still hold on to a very, very thick line of truth.
Yes.
All right.
Love that.
I'm gonna go with the
Love
extremities
that.
of it.
Yeah.
And context is king. So I want to point out that in my younger years, in my 20s, my ambition to have XYZ type of legacy was like a front runner for like motivation why I would do certain things. It wasn't necessarily about me, but it was like the legacy that I would play a part in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
For the culture that I fell in love with, that had given me everything, that like made me who I was, that provided me identity and space and belonging, right? Predominantly dance. Now, one, maybe it's also satisfaction for knowing that I truly believe we played our part. There's still work to be done, true, but I do think that we have moved the needle,
100%.
and I got to be satisfied with that.
Yeah.
But now, if you want to talk into the future, I would love to just be that boring ass adult who's successful enough to make enough investments that one of them hits, that I can quietly go away and live just well enough. I don't have to be a multi-millionaire mogul, this or that.
Yeah.
I would enjoy it if I could. But if I could live comfortably, considering the times, and safe for my family, both generations up and down, whether taking care of my parents and my children, God willing, I don't mind disappearing and just living for them. I would love that, because then I would just be able to hopefully live off these investments and not necessarily work, but take care of what I got to.
Yep.
Play some golf, exercise my curiosity. So it's like, if I wanted to go into acting, because I was always like, man, I got to try this. I could try it and fail and not be dissatisfied with the failure.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what makes failure so difficult sometimes, when that's what you're riding on for things like survival.
Right.
So when you fail at that, your survival is in shock.
Oof.
You know what I'm saying? But if you're like doing it because you're curious and you can be fine without, you know what I mean? Then failure suddenly, like, you can endure 1,000 more failures in that same craft. And that's what allows you to get good at something, when you can endure 1,000 failures. And we all could do that when we were 20, right? When we didn't have to pay a mortgage, when we didn't have wives, when we didn't have to take care of our older parents. When, you know what I mean? When we didn't have those kinds of bills and responsibilities, we could endure 1,000 failures.
Totally.
Now we can't endure 1,000.
No, we can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
can't even endure one when you get married.
That's what I'm saying. So it's
yeah.
like I just want to get to a point where I can endure failure again. Because then I'll probably be able to do anything.
That's good. That's good.
But I want to be able to do anything. I don't want to be fucking amazing at this one thing. I used to want to be that. Now I just want to be able to do things.
All right, if money wasn't a factor, money's not a factor, what are you doing with your life?
Money's not a factor.
Not a
Not a
factor.
factor.
You're good. You're chilling.
You're good.
You're
To
like,
To
you
the
know,
point where, like, Nina don't even have to work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could.
chilling.
Yeah, what are you
Chilling.
gonna?
Oh, I'm spawning offspring and traveling.
oh, speaking of offspring, is that like, are we close? Or where are we at?
It's on the table for sure. It's definitely, it's more than on the table, but
Let me try to just tell the other side. Kids are great.
hey,
Kids are
remember,
great.
Vera's in the next. You
Yeah,
know,
she's on my side.
All right.
Kids are great, and I just want to. It's the brainwashing of, oh, you got to do this, family, and this. Sometimes it doesn't match the time, or it might not match you. You do what it matches you guys. If she wants one, then you have no choice. But if you guys are both like kind of open-minded about it, then it's like, and I think you're already doing it. Like, you're not falling under the pressures or brainwashing of like Asian culture, or what your family's telling you to do. So
I'm definitely that personality, but I'll tell you what, my dad is not a man of a particular type of words. He can definitely like hold the room and be charismatic. That's where I got it from, when he's talking with his friends, be funny and all that stuff.
Dang, I want to see your dad do that. Dude.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
I want to
It's
see
fun.
Hunter in his element, bro.
Young Anthony be like, "Ah." But at the same time, when young Anthony wants it at home, not a man of many words. He would bring his friends over. Hi, Mr. Lee. And my dad wouldn't even give him eye contact. He'd be like, You know, he'd be like that.
yes.
When he
I've
grew older and
experienced
when
that,
he
yeah.
became a
Yeah.
grandfather,
Yeah.
suddenly like the heart opened up, the smile,
for
the
sure.
lips curl and whatnot. But point is, out of mostly yelling, there's probably two things that my dad has said advice-wise that I took to heart in really unique ways, in the ways that he said it. Okay? So again, maybe not advice for everybody, but in just the way he spoke to me and how he spoke to me, two things stick in my mind. One, he's like, don't be a lawyer. And I was like, why?
Don't be a lawyer.
Yeah. I was like, well, this is when I was young. We were in a movie theater. I remember he was
Okay.
talking to me and my sister.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, don't be a lawyer. Mm-hmm. I was like, why? He's like, because sometimes you're going to feel, in his words, like compelled to have to fight for the wrong people.
Ooh.
I was
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
Good man.
Okay, that
Yeah.
stuck with me.
Wow.
So like, as much
Yeah.
as like all the Asian stereotypes being about doctor, lawyer was never in the playbook for me.
Mm.
Which you would have been a pretty great.
I think I
fucking
would have been a
amazing lawyer.
solid lawyer.
You would have been a great
You
lawyer.
would have been
yeah.
a great lawyer.
Yeah.
I would hire you.
I would put money to send you to
Yes.
law school. That's how much I believe in that.
Yeah.
I would have been like a Mike Ross though, you know what I mean? Cheat the system, kind of like play it my own way.
You'd have been Larry
Have a
H. Parker.
suitcase of weed. Yeah, or Larry H. Parker.
Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
Come on, they still got commercials. They
Hey,
gotta
he's
be
still killing it, bro. Decades.
Actually, it's a referral service. I found out.
Oh, okay.
Larry
Still
H.
amazing.
Parker,
Still
yeah,
amazing.
they just
It's
referral.
still a hustle.
Yeah, he's still
it's
a brand. He's still a brand.
They dominated that. That commercial.
Yeah.
is
Other
yeah,
part of advice, other piece of advice that he said, and again, I feel like he said it in passing and so nonchalantly, but for some reason it's got burned into my memory, is he said, you don't want to be an old father.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was
get
gonna
it. I
burn
get
in my
that.
brain.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was there and I was like, whoa. I just heard it.
How old was he when he had
He was
Alina?
30. He was 30 when he had Alina. He was 32 when he had me.
That's like right in that
And that's
pocket,
kinda
right?
late. I feel like that's late.
That's
too,
late for that
For that
generation.
generation,
Yeah.
that's my parents
Yeah.
too. That
Right.
around that time
Yeah.
too. So.
Yeah, so he's like you. So I'm guessing for him, he probably felt like he was already an old father.
Oh.
Look at me like a fucking grandpa. I don't even have kids yet. You know what I mean? But it's like,
Yeah.
it's like you just don't want to be an old father now.
Mm.
And that just always kept ringing back, even to this day. The only pressure I feel is I don't ever feel the pressure when like aunties, uncles, and friends, blah blah blah. Like, you gotta have. I don't actually feel that pressure. I hear it. I embrace it. We're in that culture where it's like that's a part of the thing. Once you get married, that's the next immediate question by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel that the way that I feel my dad's words. You don't want to be an old father. That's it.
Can I be real and completely honest?
For the first time during this pod.
Shut up. Shit.
I didn't say it, dude. I didn't say anything.
Welcome to the Kinjaz
Yeah,
Podcast, yo.
I didn't say anything,
Look,
dude.
like, back me up here, man.
Yeah.
Your ex.
Bro, no way.
To be complete, and I've never told, and even with Vero and stuff, we choose to not have kids, but me being as my age is kind of the Band-Aid to help me get through it, to be okay with it. Like I'm like, yeah, I didn't want that either, and I've been told that too growing up. So it's like that's kind of a easy way for me to cope, to where I'm like, oh, I'm already past that point where it's gonna be. I feel like of course it'll be enjoyable, and as your parent, you'd be a parent. But I'd feel bad if I couldn't keep up with my kid. If I'm trying to teach him basketball, but I'm like, oh, my knees are hurting, and I you know what I mean, and I'm like, I can't do anything. I can't help you. So it's like, I feel bad to do that. So yeah, like I understand that feeling. So it's like, we've talked about this. I've never told anyone, but like that age, my age is what makes, the older I get, I'm more okay with like not having kids, because I'm like, I don't want to be an old dad, and I'd rather.
Ouch, bro.
Why?
I'm older than you.
And you know what? You got good knees, so you're good.
I do got good knees.
You got good knees,
Praise God.
So.
I got good knees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. I think you're gonna be one of those, like old dads that we still working out and doing pull-ups at 60. You know what I mean? So it's
Hey,
like,
God willing.
yeah.
God willing,
So
man.
hurry up and get that nut on, dude.
Hey, yeah, I'm working on it.
Your mom said it's cool. She's like, just
Nah,
hit
man,
something.
it's a little bit more complicated than that. Hey, it's not about me though, man.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
about me.
okay,
It's not
yes.
about me.
It's
You're
about
right.
to be about you.
Yes.
I'm
Not
kind of
yet,
liking
not
this.
yet, not yet.
The direction of this is like
Yeah.
really interesting right
Nah.
now.
No, but okay.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay, let's get back on
Let's drink a little
track
more.
here. Deflect the tongue, dude.
Yeah.
Let's get back
Oh,
on
oh.
track here. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Well, and bro, you have been somebody who I've been like watching, grow over the past like decade plus, and man, you've like, bro, you're like the way I met you in college as like the homie of the homie, and then you told me that you're like, yo, I'm not even like, I don't even dance, and I was like, I think you do though, and even as like you're talking about,
I was 19, by the way.
you were 19.
I was 18 years ago.
And I've seen you just literally like skyrocket as a man, and I feel like your talents are a testament of your
Environment.
that's interesting. Yeah, I see that.
I was around great people.
You were around great people, and then you also injected your personality and your drive, your style, your passion, all of that. And I say this in the best way, man. You are infectious to who you also decide that you're going to surround yourself with. Like, you are a huge influence to the people that you were like, yo, I want to be around these people. You also influence them. And I just see like also just where you're at. Like, even I would have never like as something simple as like a wedding, that I was like, oh, dude, Ant's gonna have like the biggest ball, like the biggest extravagant. And then when you didn't, and as much as I was like surprised, I was like, but that actually makes sense. That makes sense for Ant. Like, knowing the layers of you, and like just how well-rounded you are, and I just see just your moves, bro, and it's so cool to be able to walk alongside you through seasons, man. Like, you know, when I think about where we're at now, bro, it's been almost, bro, we're like at 10 years since I've been back in LA. Like, because 2014, at the end of 2013, until like 2014 was when I joined Kinjaz. It's been about a decade.
Yeah, that's right.
And I, you know, of course, I've known you even before that, but like we've been rocking in such close proximity for a decade and gone through seasons. I'm just so thankful, and I'm so like blessed to call you one of my best friends and my brother, and to be able to like do life with you, man. You know what I'm saying? And be able to celebrate your milestones and go through the valleys, the hills and the valleys, man. Right? We've been through all of it. And to be able to come on to like, you're on a different podcast, you know what I'm saying?
I'm feeling like this, like sitting here and I'm like, I'm your new girlfriend, or why am I saying girlfriend? Boyfriend?
Don't touch me when you say that.
Yeah, as long as you don't say anything negative, you won't get cut out.
Yeah. Just be positive,
and
bro.
you got your ex, you know.
He my ex? What you...
Yeah, but
host.
it was amicable, but it's not we're broken out. It's like, if anything, we're rekindling our love.
Yeah,
so you
dude.
just gotta be. You're a little bit threatened.
No,
right
I
now.
gotta start
Understand.
going into the producer in the background.
Dude.
Yeah,
Just let it be. Just let it coast, man. Just let it
He's
coast.
pouring his heart out, and you're making it weird.
I know.
dude.
I always do that. I'm sorry.
So yeah, Aunt. Nah, but I'm just really I'm happy, bro. I'm happy to see life unfold, bro. Just literally, we're literally living life and like unfolding it together, watching, you know, each other win, watching each other struggle, but also being there for each other. And bro, at the end of the day, man, if we are still alive and well after that weird freaking blip in life in the entire globe, and we're still here, man, that's a blessing. And I know we're gonna keep rocking together. And I know that's the power, the beauty, the essence, the soul of Kinjaz, is to do it at all costs. We said it, we're gonna do it at all costs, no matter what. And I see that we're doing it. So I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful and excited to see the next chapters unfold, man. All the stuff that you shared today.
Yeah. That's amazing. Like
we're
you say, it's
excited.
boring,
It's not boring,
but
Not
it's
at all,
amazing because
man.
I feel like this is like the real Anthony, you know. And
Brian, it's because you're amazing.
no, don't do that. Like I'm being sincere right now.
He's being sincere.
Oh, he is.
You are amazing, right?
Yeah, you are amazing. You know why? Because I remember when this fiddling idea of doing a podcast was being birthed, and there were hoops and shit that y'all had to jump through too. You know what I mean? To get where this is. Just the way that life unfolds is so incomprehensible. We can never think that any of our plans are going to work the way they are. You know what I mean? Even from last year, if I didn't get married, would it, like, hands down, is the hardest year I've ever gone through in my life. And it wasn't just like losing $1 million. It was also like, even between me and Ben's friendship, through all the hardships that we were going through with like the business and stuff too, like how much of a strain that put on our friendship. That was like one of the hardest things that I ever had to endure too. And during that time was also the fruition and the coming of like figuring out, you know, like Ben wanting to figure out other things with his life and wanting to podcast. So like this came out. And so to even know that I'm coming out here for episode number 29, 30, something like that.
30,
I'm number 30.
We'll see. Well, yeah, 30. Yeah.
I'm dirty 30.
30 is a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good number.
So come out here and it's kind of like you guys are throwing this podcast, you know, and we're on episode 30. We got Mark over here too.
Shout out to Mark.
He's not feeling so well, but he's still sticking through because
Yeah.
he's the man.
he's
bustling
He's
it
the
up,
man,
bro.
you know what I mean?
Come on.
Yeah. So just like to see it continue too, and like everybody is still making moves and pushing that chess piece like one square forward at a time to do the things that, like, you know, we're man enough to say we want to do and still do it. Like I do find genuine greatness in that. I think greatness is in the little steps that we take, not in the grandeur moments. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'll take it. Thank you. Like, that's a lot of it is from the Kinjaz. Like, you know, even when I became one, I was like, babe, I got to lose weight. I got to start losing weight. So I went on the thing to be healthier, be a little healthier, lost weight. And I was like, I can't be the fat Kinja. I can't be the fat Kinja. You know, so, because I was a fat Kinja at the time. So it's like, you know, so like.
I didn't say nothing, dog.
Not saying anything,
I
saying
didn't
something
say nothing,
sometimes,
bro.
you know?
I'm just trying to encourage you, bro.
No.
Keep at it, dog.
No, I'm good. What do you mean? Yeah, I'm good right now. I'm in the healthiest I've been and like the best looking I think.
That's why I said keep at it.
Thank
I
you.
didn't say get to somewhere. I said keep
I
it
know,
up.
keep it up.
Keep it
Keep
up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like it's because of Kinjaz. So it's like seeing you guys going out there doing your shit, and like it's very inspirational. And I was like, what excuse do I have? So just do it. Even if, and I'll tell you, man, sometimes being accepted, or like the number like game, like looking at the numbers, like that will kill you, man. So it's like
That will kill
like
you.
knowing that and trying to get past that, but also being around everyone, that people are all around me are hitting all these numbers. So it's like it's stressful on its own end with the with this podcast, but I think with consistency, growing and stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
it's encouraging. So
I love
yeah,
it.
dude, I'm gonna say it's like being a Kinja. Like I feel like I have to meet a certain standard, and like that's why I joke around. Like when I say I'm being humble, legit, I don't go around like saying, like, "Hey, I'm a Kinja." Like I don't say that kind of stuff because it's like that's just lame. You know what I mean? So it's like not lame in the like I don't want to.
Right.
okay,
I don't want to
dude.
show
Right.
off. Or,
I
like,
hear
try
your
to-
heart right
you
now.
know
That's
what I mean?
good
I don't want to try
enough.
to show
Yeah.
off because of it. It's like
good
so
enough.
Kinjaz is like something like very special to me. So it's like I hold it very sacred. So I don't
You're
whore
very
it out.
special
I
to
don't, like,
Kinjaz.
which I could if I could whore it out.
I think
if I wanted to, I could get probably.
correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. You can be like, no, that's not what I meant. I think this is what you're saying.
Yes.
There is a level of excellence that you want to hold yourself to.
Yes.
Yourself to, not like a level of excellence that
That they
anyone
expect
else
us. No,
holds themselves to.
yeah,
A level of excellence that you want to hold yourself to. That is why, or that is what Kinjaz brings out in you. Like, yo, I need to
Yes. Anything.
pursue
especially,
my own excellence.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, with especially.
I
in
love
this
that.
with the
I
podcast.
love that.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's
Kinjaz
amazing.
does that for me too.
Same.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a big piece of shit if I didn't have, the squad, like, because that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like in golf. We were just talking about it. Like the whole point of getting better at golf is if you play up, is if you play with people that are just smoking you. So you constantly
gotta
surround
keep up, yeah.
yourself with people that your mind says are better than you. Better than you is fucking subjective too,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's relative.
100%,
You know what I'm saying? Whether it be
100%.
fitness, a dance, or whatever the hell it is.
But it's not a better than you that like I'm like it's like a better that I want to like they look at me as an equal, so I need to
Yes.
meet their standard. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
That's a very beautiful way to put it.
Well, I think that is something that I see across the board, man. I see that through the whole squad right now, and I see a lot of, people just kind of doing their thing and figuring it out because that's the name of the game, and we got to figure it out. We have to do what works, and I see that, like, Anthony and you, bro, like, that level of, or that pursuit of excellence never stops. And that motivates me. And it may not be the same thing. I'm not like trying to pursue what you're trying to be excellent in and vice versa. And I'm not trying to do what you're doing, vice versa. But it's just like, yo, this is what's on my plate. And I want to like do the best with what's on my plate. And it could be different. And I think it's actually beautiful that it's different. You know what I mean? So like the fact that I see across the board that our fam is doing that, man, that's super inspiring.
I'm actually very thankful for this era as a Kinja. We're about to turn the page and go into a season where I'm like getting very excited about the next season of Kinjaz. Very excited. And I don't know what the next season is. So I'm not like preempting something that I know about that I can't really, that I'm excited for people to find out. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I just feel everything happens in cycles and everything happens in season. I think what made Kinjaz fucking glorious and magical is when everyone was doing their own thing.
True. That's how
and
it
just
started.
killing it
Yeah.
their own way,
Yeah.
so that when we came together, it was such a powerful and enjoyable experience. Because sometimes people didn't want to do their own thing, so they found the joy authentically, privately, and then for people on the public, when they saw their idols or their favorite people doing the things that they normally do, but coming together and doing it, it was a spectacular thing to exhibit. Unfortunately, through things like the pandemic, it forced us to disband a little bit and for us to like fend for ourselves and like figure things out. And so I think that there was, in that part of the arc, there was a part of it that was stressful, that was distant.
Sure.
Change is not always like comfortable, you know what I mean? But now that like we've all began settling and figuring things out and moving forward like we always do, like we've always been taught to through each other, indirectly or directly, to pursue excellence for ourselves in a way that only we can only own up to and we know how to own up to. I feel like we're all ramping back up into that same type of thing, that when we decide or when we truly come back together more continuously, I just feel like that's going to be so fun. And I say fun specifically. I'm not saying bigger, better,
True.
success.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like, we all old enough to know that, like, we could fucking die tomorrow.
Right.
At the end of the day,
yeah.
we're going to want to, like, go happy and content with
Back to the
everything,
roots.
having done things and done each other right. You know what I mean?
Yep,
I just feel like when that season is truly embarking on us, it's like glory is going to be totally hand in
I
hand.
love that, man.
Hey, mark your calendars. January 2024, we're bringing back Crusade.
Woo! Can
Assuming
we do it a day that I'm like always leaving?
I'm trying my
on
best
these-
to make sure everybody's available.
ahead of time. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yes. Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
We're gonna drink to that.
This
for sure.
concentrated sake shot right here.
That's
Good.
it. That's
Woo.
it.
Excited.
Wow.
Life is.
That was one
is
of those.
beautiful.
You know what I'm saying?
You
love
know, can I ask you, like, when you go on podcasts, because you've done stuff and you've talked, how much like do you actually talk about like your personal stuff? You don't, right?
No, I mean, I talk about personal stuff frequently. I think on the Kinjaz podcast, that was a unique thing.
True,
we
yeah.
rarely talked about our own
Yeah,
personal
we're
stuff.
interviewing
Yeah.
people.
We'll
yeah.
like be a mirror or a reflection on somebody else's personal stuff, so we'll interject something that complements that person's personal journey. But like to truly dive into somebody's personal space and give enough time that like context can build an understanding for a viewer and a listener, that's different. Because I'll do very, very deep or personal, unique stories on like JK, right?
Yeah.
Like we'll have like a prompt that's like, what was like your favorite childhood memory? Like, you know, what was the number one thing that you learned from one of your teachers? Like, what's the biggest regret? Like we'll have very personal things, but those are still like anywhere from 12 to 20-minute videos, and everybody is sharing. So like your segment of that thing might be a 3-minute answer. But like to sit down and like to personally be interviewed, and like, you know, for the record, I think I've done a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Like personal interviews, but they're always so surrounded by career, Asian excellence, success as a minority to like dance culture, and like, you know, building a pathway for like they've been shrouded in like those specific themes that to the point where like at this age I almost have scripts
Yeah.
for like questions.
Yeah.
You could
You
throw
know.
like a laundry list of interview questions at me, and chances are I've
You're
answered
on, you're
all of
on,
them 18 different times. But to sit here and be asked like very personal questions where I'm answering things in a public forum for the first time, like this is a first.
Nice.
Oh,
I
that's
love
what's
that.
up, man.
I feel that. I'm not talking about my marriage and my wedding and the culture between our families, or like things that like didn't happen in a specific context. Like I'm not talking about my crypto losses. I'm talking about how they influenced my decision to elope.
later on.
I'm not talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like these are like truly personal questions with the time and the audience that makes it comfortable to like be like, yo, let's talk. So this is kind of a first, to be honest.
I'm grateful, man. Thank you so much. Like, that's awesome.
Dude, bro, for real though, appreciate you being that down to be that open. I mean, we had never pre-discussed like what we were gonna talk about, and you could withhold whatever you want to withhold. But dude, as your friends, as your brothers, and I mean, conversations, bro. I mean, like this
if you
is
want an
literally.
event, just come. We have episodes we haven't even. They're on the cutting room floor because it's just
We've
us
had many.
spectating.
We've had many. But like the thing is, man, I think this is conversation. It's the stuff that like you said, when we it's like AAPI month, like we're gonna talk about Asian excellence. We're gonna talk about how we made it through the struggle, and that's the stories that people want to know, that, oh man, like, you know, people that look like us have made it. But then, like, you know, when do we ever get to really talk about, like, not just be like the struggle, but like the real, you know what I mean? The stuff that matters to us personally. And I think that's where, I don't know, man, like, I don't really care to talk about anything else with somebody who sits across this table from us, other than like what's just real in your life. We don't need we're not here to inspire the next generation. We can if we do, but like that's not what we're here for. We're just really here to just have the real talks. And
Or
so,
they might hear it and be like, "Oh, I've been going through this. Anthony's been going through that. Like, it's cool to hear that."
Yeah,
You
I
know
think
what
it's
mean?
fair
Like,
for you to still be like, we're here to inspire the next generation
But
to
it-
be real.
but we are doing
To
it.
be
Yeah,
real with
exactly.
themselves,
That's
that's all.
bro. I love
Yeah.
that. Let's clip that right there. Let's clip that right there. But no, bro. And thank you, bro, for
Yes.
coming through on this late night. We know you got an early morning workout tomorrow. Would love that. Thank you for
Oh, no.
eating this dried squid with us, dude. If there's anything that like, is there anything, bro? Like, what's going? You want people to know about anything? What's up, man? Like, should people follow something? Let them know, man. It's that time.
What do I want people to know? What do I want people to follow? Let's see. The things that I still genuinely care about in my life now. I mean, at the end of the day, I hope people still follow Kinjaz because, like I said, I think we're going into a season that I just like. I haven't felt this kind of excitement in a while, and I have no idea where it's going.
Yeah.
But like when we was young, we had no idea where it was going. We just had dreams, and I think that was the point. Sometimes you get lost after things become successful, that the dream goes away because you're still maintaining everything that you worked hard for, So there's that. Follow Kinjaz. Join Kinjaz Dojo for beginners because now we're getting to that point where we've been around long enough where we're going out to different countries again, and people are like, yo, I took this class or I started learning on this. So now I'm like, and you see people's progress. We're starting to
online courses.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody like never puts in like online beginner tutorials. That's like not swaggy, so you don't like think much of it. And then you start after time tells, you start seeing people get pretty good, and they're like, I started here.
Wow. Yep.
And it starts being like, that's the fucking reason why I got into this game, because I wish I had that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So Kinjaz Dojo for beginners. It's changing people's lives apparently now. What else? JK News. Like I never knew that would be such a huge part of my heart and my life and that fam. You know what I mean? Like especially since like during the pandemic, that was the first time where it was like I was stuck at home. So I was like, oh, I can be here regularly, and like they provided a space for me to like do my thing.
And they showed you. Like they were like showing you as not a dancer,
Totally.
but you.
And the unique part is like I've been on social media for hella long, but like if you were to only judge me based off of like my dance voice and my expression, I'm like such a Gemini, and like that ethereal, spacey, deep, like music loving type of like choreographer is so different from like my speaking, abrasive, idiotic, naive, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a whole different side, and it's not that one's fake, it's just they're both real for me. But like to be able to express both is a huge part. So like of course JK News is a huge part of my life. I'm excited for people to continue that journey. And then because the whole point of Kinjaz is for us to all lift each other up. Follow Conversations.
Oh,
okay.
If you're not already following Conversations, that's weird because I don't know how you're gonna see this.
Okay,
but,
it's I too have been impressed by the different people that you're bringing on, but it's not about who you're bringing on, it's about what you're getting out of them and the conversations that you're providing. Because like I said, I've been on a shit ton of podcasts and interviews and Q&As and blah blah blah. I probably through JK alone probably have like 1,000 videos of myself talking about personal stories out in the interweb somewhere. But the type of unique space that this provides, although it be almost aimless because I don't know where the conversation is going to go, it's like putting the Hail Mary fishing line in the ocean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that sometimes when you catch gold, it might be fewer and far in between, but when you catch it, it's more valuable. So
That's so good,
That's
man.
what we're looking for.
And man, we love you, bro. Hey, make sure y'all, he didn't even plug his personal, man. Follow _ Anthony Lee _ Instagram. Bro, and we appreciate you coming on, man. And bro, as brother, friend, we love you, man, and we support everything that's going on. And thank you for just spending some time with us, man.
Yeah.
hey, I appreciate it. I love you guys too. I want Ryan to do the outro because he did the intro.
Do the outro.
All right, guys. we
Just
outro?
do it, man.
Don't look at me, dude.
Don't just.
Thanks a lot, everyone, for stopping by for Conversations. Peace.
That was amazing.
That's